Hey, Leilani with the Magical Solution here, and it is Hoodoo Heritage Month. Yay! Mwah, 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 to all of my hoodoos out there. Now, I am not hoodoo, I'm a spiritista. However, I've been wanting to do a video for a really long time about a couple of the similarities between hoodoo and espiritismo. But before I get into that, right, I want to encourage you to go back to some of my previous videos back in the day where I talk about the intersectionality between these four traditions, which are the Southern Black American Hoodoo spirituals, the Native American traditions, the American spiritualism movement, and of course the Espiritismo of the diaspora. Right? So these four traditions and their interconnectedness, their relationships, their exchanges made so much impact to these communities, these BIPOC communities at the time. And we are seeing a lot of these wonderful exchanges flourishing today. And I'm just so excited to talk about it. So let's get into it. One similarity that I love to talk about that nobody really considers, and I think it's because, again, it's a diasporic kind of observation. This is not really a perspective that you will see when you go back to the Caribbean and look at Espiritismo when it first when it dug its claws into the islands. However, when we get to the mainland and we start to see Espiritismo and Spiritism practiced in conjunction with these other three traditions, we see a shift in this particular thing that I'm about to say. And that is our primary spiritual guia, our primary spiritual guide. Right? So in Espiritismo, we believe that every single person is born with a spiritual team, a spiritual legion, but specifically a spirit guide, a main one that is with them from birth all the way through death, right? Now, how is this similar in Hoodoo? So the main spirit guide that we have in Espiritismo can be compared to two characters, if you will, in Hoodoo. The first character is the crossroads spirit. What? Yeah, I know. The crossroads spirit. And the second character would be Jesus. Okay, let's get into it. Now, I am not saying that crossroads spirits and Jesus are the primary spirit guides of hoodoos. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that there are certain characteristics of the crossroads spirit and Jesus as looked at in hoodoo with the characteristics of our primary guide. And those characteristics are that they are a psychopomp spirit. Psychopomp spirits are spirits of the in-between. They are traveling spirits. They are spirits of the doorways, of the bridges, of the crossroads, of the boats, right? These are spirits that open the way and open access to other spirits and other energies. They can either take you to these other things or bring these other things to you. Either way, this energy that we're talking about here can be found in the in-between places. Now again, in Hoodoo, it's a whole different vibe in terms of the mythos, where they're located, how to honor them, etc., 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 what you would call them for, utilizing certain, psalms and this and that. Whereas in Espiritismo, we are born with our crossroads spirit. We are born with our psychopomp spirit, and we have access to them at all times, right? But it's so cool to think about them from that perspective. Now, Jesus, where does Jesus fit in with regards to this psychopomp spirit, this messenger spirit energy, this spirit of the crossroads energy? Well, have you seen the main imagery of Jesus and where he's hanging out? He's hanging out on the cross. He's hanging out on the cross, right? Now, in Espiritismo, we utilize the symbol of the cross in our main fuente. Now, there is a ton of esoteric spiritual technology and reasoning as to why we do that. But in terms of the symbolism, we can easily look at that symbolism and compare it to the crossroads spirit and to Jesus's energy to Hoodoo, because when we place this cross in our water, we are essentially saying that we are placing a crossroad, a doorway between spiritual and material. And at that doorway will stand our primary spirit guide to ensure and filter any energies that may or may not come through, right? And that spirit, our primary spirit guide that we place at that cross in this water, can be Jesus, sure. I mean, there are plenty of Espiritistas that we see that actually utilize the cross with Jesus hanging on it. Many of us, in my tradition, we do not use that because we prefer not to symbolize any type of death on our boveda or on our mesa blanca. So we will have an empty cross or a cross with maybe the baby Jesus on it, looking up with his little halo and all that, looking all cute and whatnot. But that's the extent of it. And it's only really there to symbolize that there is an energy that stands at the center of this cross, at this portal, to ensure safe passage in and out. Okay? In the same way that Hoodoo has a crossroads spirit at the crossroads to ensure the energies moving in and out, to make sure that they get their toll, that they get their peace, that they get whatever it is that they're going to get, right? Cool. Crazy, right? Okay. Another similarity, since I'm on the topic of the cross anyway, another similarity between Hoodoo and Espiritismo, and specifically the Espiritismo of the diaspora that includes a lot of native indigenous practices and a lot of folk tradition from Cuba and Puerto Rico, etc., is the use of the elements. We utilize the elements within Espiritismo in almost the same way that Hoodoo utilizes the elements as well. And once again, the cross within our waters also symbolize the four elements being represented as part of symbology of the material world from which the spirit is trying to pass into. And again, this crossroads spirit being at the center of the elementals. You guys, it just goes so deep. It goes so deep, and it is so much fun. Anyway, I can go on and on and on, but I figured, you know what? Let me just kind of drop a little nugget here and there, because it is an entire month of celebrating our Hoodoo friends and family, right? And so I don't want to blow my load all in one video, but our primary spirit guide and the way in which we utilize the elements within our practice here in Espiritismo have a lot of similarities with our Hoodoo brothers and sisters, and that is because of the wonderful exchanges that we had in the past, along with American spiritualism and along with the native indigenous practices. And I could not be more honored to be a part of a diasporic tradition like this that is a beautiful melting pot of all of the BIPOC traditions that have moved through these lands. And I can't wait to talk about it some more. So if you guys have any questions, or if you have your own correlations and comparisons and, between Hoodoo and Espiritismo, drop them in the comments, because I love to know more and I love to explore new ideas with these new comparisons. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This is The Magical Solution. My name is Leilani, and this is how we grow. Bye.